A millionaire came home and heard his daughter screaming. What he saw inside made him break down. The mansion was so quiet you could hear the curtains shift in the breeze from the air vents. A 14-bedroom estate, 3 floors high, wrapped in golden light and silence. It stood like a palace, spotless, perfect, untouchable. But somewhere on the second floor, beyond the velvet walls and crystal sconces, a little girl was screaming, and no one came. Not the chef, not the groundskeeper, not even the private tutor or the assistant who usually walked around with a tablet in hand, because on that particular day they were all off-site, sent away by Clara, the housekeeper in charge of the day's schedule. She claimed the family wanted the house cleared for maintenance and deep cleaning. Everyone complied. She was, after all, the longest serving employee in the house. She had the master keys, the routines, the authority. No one questioned her, but she didn't want silence for cleaning. She wanted control. Upstairs in the princess-style bedroom, 6-year-old Zuri sat on the edge of her velvet comforter, clutching her favorite stuffed bunny. Tears ran down her cheeks as Clara, in her crisp white blouse and dark navy maid's dress, stood inches from her face, screaming, "You spoiled, ungrateful little thing, you don't talk back to me, you understand me?" Zuri shook her head, sobbing, I didn't, I just wanted to call Daddy. You don't get to speak unless spoken to, Clara hissed, finger jabbing toward her tiny chest. I've been raising this house longer than you've been alive, girl, don't you think? Your sad eyes scare me. Zuri's tiny legs dangled off the bed. Her heels didn't touch the carpet. She clutched her bunny tighter. Clara's voice dropped into a lower, sharper tone. You think because he adopted you, you get to act like a little queen? You're nothing but a charity project to him. You don't belong here. I've seen girls like you come and go. Zuri's sobs grew louder. Her throat was raw, her cries echoing into the hallway. But no one heard, or rather no one was left to hear. What Clara didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Mr. Jamal Henley, the man who owned this house, had come home 6 hours early. His flight had landed ahead of schedule. His driver had dropped him at the gate without alerting staff. He'd wanted to surprise Zuri with a toy he picked up from a small shop in Italy, hand-stitched just like the bunnies she carried everywhere. He had been smiling as he stepped into the front entrance, briefcase still in hand, but then he paused. He heard a sound, a cry, not a whimper or a tantrum, a piercing, breathless scream full of fear. His heart dropped. He dropped the gift bag on the marble tile and ran. His footsteps pounded up the spiral staircase. Second floor, left hallway. Zuri's door was half open, and then he saw it, Zuri crying on the bed, her knees drawn to her chest, face stained with tears. Clara kneeling in front of her, face contorted in rage, finger outstretched in accusation, spitting words into a child's face like she was filth. Jamal stopped in the doorway, breath caught in his throat for a moment. Neither of them noticed him until Clara turned her head slightly and froze. He saw the color drain from her face. Mr. Henley, she gasped, standing up quickly. Sir, I didn't know you were back so soon. He didn't speak. He looked from her to Zuri, who now noticed him, her tears-soaked eyes going wide with relief. She let out a sob and tried to slide off the bed, her little feet hitting the floor unevenly. Daddy, she cried. He stepped forward and caught her in his arms. Her body was trembling. He held her close. She buried her face in his chest. Only then did he look back at Clara. The room had gone cold. What? He said, voice low and shaking. Did I just walk into Clara? Stammered she's been difficult, sir. She was throwing things, screaming for no reason. I only raised my voice to calm her down. Zuri clung tighter. I just wanted to call you, she whispered. He looked down at her, then back at Clara. Who else is in the house? Clara blinked. Just me. I asked the others to leave so I could deep clean the upstairs wing. Convenient, he said. Silence. Then he turned toward the hallway. He pressed a button on the wall. His private security intercom. Brent, he said calmly, come to Zuri's room. Bring another maid with you. Clara will be leaving the premises immediately. Sir, Clara gasped. He didn't look at her again. Zuri gripped his lapel, still crying. He sat down on the bed, holding her against his chest, whispering something only she could hear. Down the staff would later whisper about how the richest man in the building had tears in his eyes as he carried his daughter past the golden stair railing that afternoon. But no one ever saw Clara inside that house again, and in that moment Jamal Henley realized he had built an empire strong enough to shelter thousands, but had left his own child vulnerable in her own bedroom. Jamal didn't say a word to Clara as security escorted her out. He didn't shout, he didn't raise his voice, he didn't need to. The look in his eyes said everything, and she knew it. But after the bedroom door closed, after the hallway emptied and silence returned, the weight of what had just happened hit Jamal like a flood. Zuri sat on his lap, her head resting on his shoulder. Her eyes were red and puffy. She was quiet now, but not because she was calm. She was worn out, afraid. Small, he held her tighter. I'm so sorry, he whispered, his throat thick. I should have been here. I should have seen it. She didn't respond. Her fingers clung to the collar of his shirt like a child, afraid to let go. He wiped her face gently. You don't have to be scared anymore. You hear me? Zuri finally whispered. She said, you wouldn't believe me that if I told you you'd send me back. Jamal's chest tightened, his heart cracked right there. I would never send you away, he said, his voice low and broken. You're my daughter, Zuri, no matter what. Her lips trembled. She said I didn't belong here. He closed his eyes, held back the burn behind them. You belong more than anyone, he said. You belong because I chose you, because I love you. The next morning the staff returned to find Jamal had already been up for hours. He met with every one of them in person. He didn't yell, he didn't assign blame, but he made one thing clear. Anyone who saw, heard, or suspected mistreatment and stayed silent would no longer work in his home. 2 people resigned that day. 3 others apologized in tears, but Jamal wasn't done. He installed a new staff rotation, one that kept 2 adults assigned to Zuri at all times, but not just maids. Educators, a licensed therapist, a woman named Angela who had worked with children from a trauma-based foster care and came with glowing references. Most importantly, he changed himself. He canceled his next 2 business trips, cleared his weekends. He started picking Zuri up from her afternoon classes himself, sometimes just to hold her hand. On the walk back from the garden, he didn't try to fix things overnight, but he showed up again and again. One night, weeks later, Jamal tucked Zuri into bed. The bruises inside her had faded some. She laughed a little more now, asked more questions. She still clung to her stuffed bunny, but now she slept with the lights off. As he pulled the blanket up to her chin, she looked up at him and asked quietly, "You're not going to leave again, right?" He leaned down, kissed her forehead. "Not unless you come with me." He smiled. "Deal?" She nodded, then just as he reached the door her voice stopped. Him again, Daddy? Yes, baby, thank you for hearing me. His hand lingered on the light switch, he didn't turn it off. Instead, he walked back, sat beside her, and whispered, I'll always hear you even when you don't speak. The house remained grand, the gold walls still shimmered. But the most valuable thing inside wasn't the chandeliers or the hand-carved furniture anymore. It was a father who had finally understood what it meant to protect, not just by providing but by being present, by listening, and a daughter who, after everything, finally believed she was home. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales, and let us know in the comments where in the world are you watching from. We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.